So, hello, welcome. Um, Today our focus is going to be the Venus Gate, the next one. But in between now, which is Monday, and the Venus Gate on the 6th, we have this amazing solar eclipse taking place. So it makes a lot of sense actually to look at the solar eclipse as well and then look at the gate that follows a few days afterwards. And actually, you'll notice with these Venus Moon conjunctions, which form the gate, as they usually just come like a few days after the new moon, anyway. Okay, so I've got a presentation. I've got a bit of an attunement that's going to tune us into this body called Black Moon Lilith, that is going to be conjunct the eclipse, and the star called Algol, who's also associated with Lilith and Medusa. Um, yeah, and if you know where these, if this relates to your astrology and you want to write anything in the chat, please do. And then we'll get to a sharing part, which won't be on the main video. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you'd like to join in these live astrology sessions with your chart, then please subscribe to Soul Tribe, and it's on pretty much every Monday. Okay, so let me share my presentation. Well, I think I'm going to do that. Hang on. There we go. There it is. Okay. Okay, so share, present. Oh, no, present. Get in there. Oh, no. Okay, great. I'm having tech issues today, but hopefully you can see that okay. Yeah. I just froze there for a moment. So if I disappear, it's because the Wi-Fi's crashed out. We'll give ourselves a boost. Okay, so we're going to do the solar eclipse and the Venus gate today. Okay, so um, let's talk about the solar eclipse first. This is also going to be through the prism of the gene keys, which kind of makes it simpler in a way. So I'm not going to talk about too much the houses and the zodiac. In fact, I'm not going to talk about that at all. I'm just going to talk about the gene key where it happens, which helps us get a kind of really simplified focus of what this eclipse is going to be about. Okay, so let's move this out the way. Okay, so if we look here on my presentation where I'm moving the cursor in the 6th house, we can see that the moon and the sun are in the same place. This is the new moon when they align at the same degree of the zodiac. And we can see that the moon's south node is pretty close by. And this is when we have an eclipse, is when the moon nodes and the sun and moon kind of all align together. And there's also another couple of things that are really interesting going on actually with this solar eclipse. Well, let me just say something about a solar eclipse first. If you imagine a new moon is beginning a cycle, an eclipse is even more powerful than the new moon. It's like magnified. And if you live anywhere by the sea, you will notice that 3 days before and after an eclipse, there will be like quite big tidal range. There'll be like maybe weather events as well. We had a massive storm here yesterday. Um, and and so if you imagine the pull of these cosmic events on the water, then that is affecting all of us and the planet as well. So a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse will bring things from the subconscious to the surface that may not have been obvious before. So you can get that kind of opening up. It can be quite uncomfortable sometimes. The shadow material kind of erupts from the subconscious. But you can also get really amazing flashes of insight as well. So there are a number of bodies that are actually exactly aligned to this eclipse. So the first of them is called Black Moon Lilith. She's quite a strange body, and there's two Black Moon Liliths, and the difference between them is how they are calculated. One is calculated as an average, and she's called mean Black Moon Lilith, but she's not actually mean as in horrible. It's just like the mean, the average is how she's calculated. And then you have Black Moon Lilith osculating. Now, to me, Black Moon Lilith osculating is the highest frequency of this goddess energy. She's like an original woman, Lilith, and she's very powerful. She's in her sovereignty. Even in ancient text, she's called self-fertilizing. So she's kind of independent of the masculine. There's this one of the myths, which actually is only from the 10th century, but it puts Lilith as the first wife of Adam and Eve as the second wife who agreed to be dominated, whereas Lilith wanted to be equal. So Lilith has this kind of archetype of the wife, the woman who wants to be equal to the masculine. So it's quite interesting as well in the context of the Kali meditation and the equinox and the balancing of masculine and feminine. The Black Moon Lilith is in this exact alignment because it's saying like this need for the feminine to break free of the old conditioning and compromises that have been in play for like hundreds of years. So the word osculating means a kiss, and it's to do with the mouth. So first of all, Black Moon Lilith, we'll tune into her in a bit, but to me, she's got this very kind of erotic energy about her. And also in her highest frequency, she's like free from fear. So she's just moving through the world creatively in her integrity. She's not afraid of anything. So she's got this real kind of undulating motion, like she's not in any cages that she made for herself or someone else made for her. She's walked out the cages, and she has this incredible level of freedom about her. Now, it's quite unusual. I've not seen it before where the two Black Moon Liliths are at the exact same degree. So that's really interesting. A, they're at the same degree, and B, it's the same degree as the eclipse is taking place at. So that feels like double whammy, Black Moon Lilith. Okay, and then we've got another body here called Astraea, who's the goddess of the new golden age, and she's bringing in more subtle awareness, creating the new world through art and poetry and music, and So yeah, I like to call her the sacred artist as well. So this is an incredible portal for this sacred creative energy. And some of us here have been using creativity for our rituals, but I encourage everyone this month to use some kind of creativity, you know, whether it's your own or someone else's. We're just talking about the Jabberwocky poem. So you never know, it might come into it. Just keep following your intuition. Okay, so this 30th today, yeah, so Wednesday. It's in Jinki 48. It's between the lines 1 to 3, because you can see Mercury is also there. So we've got all these at 10 degrees, Sun, Moon, Black Moon, Lilith, and Astraea. And then we've got Mercury 11 degrees. So all of this is Jinki 48 between lines 1 and 3. So it's like the foundation, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. The energy is rising up through those. And gene key 48 is like the Sophia wisdom gene key, very exciting. And it moves from resourcefulness, inadequacy is the shadow, resourcefulness is the gift, and wisdom is the siddhi. And I remember like a year ago, I had this period in France on my own, and I couldn't speak French, and I didn't speak to anyone pretty much for 3 weeks, apart from online. And this gene key of resourcefulness was so helpful. Like, and I'm sort of feeling into Lilith. Often she's alone, you know, even if she's in a partnership, she might still feel alone. And this resourcefulness, it's called the well in the I Ching. It's like this eternal well that we can draw on to bring like goodness and resources into our lives. So it's been there was a very powerful gene key for me. It's the one I worked with the most when I was in this kind of time of isolation. And what's also amazing, I didn't plan the Kali meditation to the gene keys. I just did it when Garrison stopped and I started. So but I trusted it was the right timing. And it's just amazing now I find we're actually going through all these gene keys related to the Venus sequence. So the 46 is 0 to 7, the 18 is 14 to 21. The 48, we take a step back and then we go through the 7 to 14 years. And then we're going to go through the 57, which is our gestation time. So it's kind of really powerful that we are timed in precision with this codon ring of matter, where we can deeply kind of clear old patterning. And it feels like this eclipse is bringing in what is new, this Black Moon Lilith. She's free, she's sovereign. It doesn't mean she can't be in a relationship, because she can, but it's an equal relationship. Okay, so a couple of other things. You can see here I've drawn this big triangle. So we actually have a grand trine in water, and you'll see this is there at our Venus Moon Gate as well. So we've got Mars is in Cancer here. We have Venus in Scorpio and Saturn in Pisces. So this is a very powerful energy that allows emotional healing and clearing, if you like. So it's really supporting everything that this eclipse is about in terms of our ability to heal ourselves emotionally. Um, and uh, and the other thing that's very interesting is that the star Algol is at 26 degrees Taurus, which is associated with Medusa and Lilith. And that is exactly where Uranus is. And Uranus brings these flashes of insight and revolutionary change. So, again, that's like really supportive to everything I'm talking about, basically, what the cosmos is offering us. Okay, so before we go any further, though, I want us just to take a pause to tune in to these bodies. Okay, so just close your eyes. I invite you to close your eyes and imagine our moon circling the earth and pulling on the tides. As I've just said, a new moon will pull the tides. This eclipse will pull them even more. And then at the full moon, we have a pull each side of the earth. So the moon is creating this living ebb and flow of water on our planet. And in fact, scientists say if we didn't have a moon, exactly how we've got, we might not have water the way that we do on planet Earth and all it brings. So we're going to tune in to Black Moon Lilith. So our moon does not go in a perfect circle around the Earth. It goes in an egg-shaped orbit. So we know that some moons are closer to the Earth and others are further away. And what this means is that there is another gravity field that is pulling on the moon and the Earth. And this field is called Black Moon Lilith. We know it's there from the shape of our moon's orbit. So just invite you to take a minute just to breathe into this invisible darkness. But a force like the moon is so close to us. Black Moon Lilith. She is freedom. She is sensual, erotic even. She is creating from the invisible levels. She is evoking emotion and feeling and transformation from this invisible magical place. So from this place that's close, relatively close to the earth, let's send our imaginations out through our solar system and out into the infinite starry sky and into the area of stars where the sign of Taurus is. And in this part of the sky is the constellation of Perseus. Perseus who cut off the head of the Medusa. And so also in this constellation is a star called Algol, and this is the eye of Medusa. It is an eye that is pretty terrifying. It can kill life. It can see over aeons of time. And as Uranus crosses over Algol, we may be able to see truths we have not seen before. And as this eclipse opens a portal, just opening to that, seeing through the veil, through the obvious. Seeing with the eye of wisdom, the eye of judgment, taking that to its highest frequency. Transforms into the eye of wisdom. So just inviting this attunement into this next week, so that as we go through this eclipse, you are able to kind of ride the waves, ride into the higher frequencies, the resourcefulness, the wisdom that can be revealed at this time. And shaking off the chains of thousands of years of conditioning that has been laid on women, on different cultures. We're all from different cultures, and each of them have their own subtle chains. And Black Moon Lilith invites us to osculate and shake off these chains and be free in our body and our expression, rising into our true genius as human beings. So let's come back. All dreamy now. Okay, so from this amazing solar eclipse, we are going to bounce into the next Venus gate. So I wanted to begin with something visual, because sometimes it's a bit wordy astrology. But here we have this image of Inanna. She's over here with her lions. And she's descended down these 7 gates, which are all Venus Moon conjunctions. And she entered the underworld. That was the morning star phase. She entered the underworld, and she's met with her dark sister, Ereshkigal, and they have gone through a life-death rebirth situation, and Inanna has come back to life and now is emerging from the underworld. And she's gone up 1, 2, 3 gates. So basically in the picture, she's over here where my mouse is. So each of these gates resonates with a chakra as well. So the first was the root gate, that was the 59. The second was the sacral gate, that was the 18. And now we're going to go into the third gate, which is Gene Key 1. These gates always fascinate me. You can sort of read the code almost of what the universe is bringing to us. Okay, so this gate is on the 5th of October, and I invite you on that day or around that day to create a ritual or a medicine walk or something to tune into these elements. So this is the chart of that event, and you can see here that we have the moon and Venus together. So if the eclipse was at 10 degrees Libra, now Venus has gone ahead and the moon has flown past all these and is now conjunct Venus. Okay, so this is Gene Key 1, this 15 degrees of Scorpio, and it's the pure yang energy, and it moves from entropy to freshness to beauty. So this Venus moon gate is basically saying you can access something completely fresh and new. And we know the solar plexus is all about our emotional programming, and it is the vessel of the big transformation of our times is through the emotional body. So this gate feels really amazing to me that it's almost like we get in a chance to begin again in the sacral, in the solar plexus center, which is pretty awesome. You can see that this water trine is still in place. So we have this access to emotional healing, emotional intelligence. Interesting, we have Saturn can also be called the Dark Mother in the Kabbalah and is trining Mars, who is the masculine energy. So this also feels like our Kali meditation, where we're holding the masculine energy, is really supported by this. And then the gate is going straight into that moon and Venus there. Okay, so I'm not going to say too more about that, but right. Here we go. So also we have, so this is Juno, goddess of the sacred relationship, and Mercury, and they're in Gene Key 57, which moves from unease to intuition and clarity. So we can see that the sun is going to go through the 48, then it's going to go through the 57. And so we've got these two other layers of like the Venus sequence that we're going to be moving through. And I'm thinking actually it would be really good to do the Venus sequence after this. So yeah, if anyone still wants to do that, let me know. And yeah, so just to finish on, so we are still going through the Kali meditation. I now realize we're going through the codon ring of matter. And we've still got, I think, round about at least 20 days of that left. We're not even halfway through yet. So yeah, so really exciting that we have an opportunity to kind of heal these things through the daily practice. Okay, so that's all I have to say, which is quite a lot, isn't it? And I'm going to pause the recording now, and you can bob in and say anything you like.